Hey there guys, it is your boy Roman and welcome to my second channel, my Yap channel, my channel where I want to talk about whatever I want to talk about. And in today's video guys, I decided to come outside here and actually experiment a little bit with my formats for this channel. Yes guys, a very experimental video because there's something that I've noticed on Western YouTube that I think is kind of funny, especially it's funny to me as a Russian. I've noticed that on Western YouTube, it seems like there's a lot of YouTubers now who, well, literally what they do is that they smoke cigarettes in front of the camera and like kind of talk about their life, and they test out different cigarettes and whatnot. And it's actually surprising to me that a lot of these influencers back in the day, they seem to be like some old ancient dude doing it from like America, some bearded guy from like the South or something. Now you have like European girls and like American, like, you know, Zoomers making this kind of content. So I think it's kind of fascinating. And I, as a Russian, I've always thought that, you know, for me, smoking always has seemed very Eastern European or like Russian coded. And I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but like smoking is a big culture in Eastern Europe. Everybody smokes. You guys probably have heard of it, right? Or if you've been to Eastern Europe, you might have experienced it yourself. You know, if you go to a bar or a club in Eastern Europe, you know, there's no chance you're probably not gonna end up, you know, smoking a cigarette or like chiefing a cigarette off of somebody by the end of the night. Yeah, I found it funny, really funny, right? That, you know, all these videos are, you know, day drinking in a public park at 2 p.m. during the day because I'm jobless, because I'm in need. And I decided to do the same thing because that is actually something that I do in real life. And it's actually one of my main ways of spending my time is just smoking a nice one. And I want to talk a little bit about smoking and how I started smoking in Russia, smoking in Eastern Europe and everything like that. And also smoke with you guys. Yes, gotta make way for the planes. This is Lisbon, you guys. Just want to say as a disclaimer, you know, I don't condone or promote smoking. You should, you know, it's bad. It is bad, and I totally realize that it's bad for me. But we Eastern Europeans and Russians, we also have a different attitude to smoking that I think is rather funny. But what I'm going to be chiefing on is a good old Chesterfield original. Honestly, I don't really know much about cigarettes in Europe. Like I've smoked, you know, cigarettes kind of all just seem samey to me. I don't really like flavor cigarettes that much these days. I don't like menthol or anything like that. I like a classic, you know, strong sort of I just wanted to yap, by the way, for long enough so that we're over the 1 minute mark, so I can actually light up and not get demonetized or whatever, because I know that some cigarette videos get demonetized and stuff like that, which I don't want to happen. But yeah, cheers guys, I guess. So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about why I smoke and how I essentially got into it and how it happened and why do I do it. Honestly, guys, I've been, you know, you might expect to hear a story from me, like, you know, classic story you hear from a lot of Eastern Europeans, like I started smoking at 11 or 12 years old or something like that at a fucking school playground. Not like that for me at all, actually, because I was a mama's boy. I was a good student. I was like very proper, and actually I haven't tried alcohol or cigarettes for a pretty decent time, and I haven't really got drunk, really drunk, until like second year of my university. So that was basically when I really started kind of partying. For a while though, when I even partied with my friends and everything, like we would go out drinking and stuff, and a lot of my friends would already smoke at that time, and they would, you know, offer me to try it, but I actually didn't want to, and I actually said no for a pretty long time. But then essentially like 2 or 2.5 years after partying and not smoking, I just succumbed into it, kind of, because everybody just, in Russia, a bar night, you know, doesn't happen without smoking. And it's just like, it feels like it's very embedded in our culture to some degree. Because like, you know, even back in the Soviet Union, you had those people that are like, they were smoking like those Soviet cigarillas or whatever they were, where the amount of like tobacco is this small and the filter is this huge. And what they would do back in the days, they would rip the filter off. And like in Russia sometimes you can see these old men, they have like yellow fingers. The reason why they have yellow fingers is because they used to smoke that hardcore like Soviet tobacco cigarillas or whatever that would knock your ass out. And it was insane. But growing up, my dad, like my uncle, they smoked. I don't know, never really in my face, but around me. So it is something that you you know, wake up seeing, and it is something that is associated just with being an adult. It's not even necessarily associated with like masculinity or anything like that in Russia. I feel like in Russia, almost as much women smoke as men, maybe less. It is kind of a societal taboo in a sense in Russia for some people, for women to smoke. But in general, especially for the young generation right now, like Zoomers, you know, people like me, whatever, they all fucking smoke, dude. They smoke, you know, girls and guys, everybody does it. I do think that, the reason why a lot of us, Eastern Europeans especially, the reason why we have this relationship to cigarettes is because, well, I guess it has to do to some degree with like the availability of maybe like cannabis or whatever. But honestly, seeing it even here, coming to Portugal, seeing how many people smoke cigarettes here, it doesn't really look to me like there's a correlation there, to be quite honest, that, people would smoke less cigarettes if they're given like weed instead or something like that. To be honest, here in Portugal at least, they smoke a lot. This is a smoking country in my opinion. It does feel to me like Europe in general is just, heavy on smoking. It's not good, but like, it is one of the things you can enjoy in life though, and it, like, I cannot lie, it hits. When you smoke a cigarette at the right time, in the right place, it does hit. And I don't know, I find it hard to, like, my relationship with cigarettes is difficult. There you go, have one. That's for you, for the viewers out there. Chiefing right now with me. Yeah, I always just find it really funny in these channels. Oh yeah, you need a lighter too. I always find it on these cigarette smoker channels. They always like, if you guys are puffing along with me, feel free to, write down in the comments what you puffing on, what kind of cancer are you guys getting, hell yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, I know there's gonna be a lot of comments underneath this video saying, essentially, Roman, what are you doing? You're gonna die. You're gonna destroy yourself. Look, I mean, my grandpa, for example, he smoked for his entire life. And I actually thought he died of lung cancer, because he died of cancer when I was a kid. He died just at the age of 64. So he actually wasn't lung cancer. I just found out that very recently that it was actually like bowel cancer, not even lung cancer, even though he smoked for his entire life. And he definitely did smoke that hardcore Soviet shit too, back in the day, you know what I'm saying? But look, I'm saying that the reason why I have this kind of view of cigarettes is because, I don't know about you guys, but do you guys feel like cigarettes are kind of making a comeback with Gen Z just because of how self-destructive they are in a sense? Because I feel like when we look at like millennials, so people who are like 30, 35 now or something like that, or maybe closer to 40, right? These are the people who grew up in a sort of a paradigm of like, our parents smoke cigarettes, it's not cool, we have this life that we should cherish, and like we should not smoke, my body's a temple, all that kind of stuff. But with Zoomers right now, right, I feel like the Zoomers of today, and this is not just only talking about Eastern Europe and Russia, of course in particular, Eastern Europe, because a lot of our countries are just, shitholes with no hope, no, no good prospects, no money, no nothing, right? The system is terrible, the police is very oppressive, everything, they're sending you to the fucking war. So essentially we have this kind of like Zoomer mindset of who gives a fuck, right? If I'm gonna smoke a cigarette and die of, cancer or some shit, I'm gonna get, there's a huge chance of me getting like iced by a fucking policeman or something, or there's a huge chance of me being like mobilized or some shit, or just, something insane happened in this country, right? Or just, there's like a lot of ways where your life can go wrong, and in very scary ways. Like, you have to essentially, when you live in Russia, especially as a young man, I feel like you have to come to face with the fact that, yes, like, you can very much possibly go to jail. You can very much possibly end up like on the front line or whatever if you do not play your cards right, if you do not weave through life the right way or whatever, right? So I feel like people have this kind of like self-destructive fuck it attitude, and they smoke more as a result of that. Plus also, even though smoking, they say, is not cool and it's not cool anymore, I'm sorry, like, it does look cool. I do think that it looks cool still. Yes, when you're smoking cigarettes, you essentially have that kind of, yes, you romanticize in your life to a certain degree, especially if you like to smoke, like, during some special moments or some, like, beautiful moments. I know there's people out there who like to smoke only when they travel, for example, and stuff like that, which I think is a good way of regulating yourself and stuff like that. But again, it is bad. It's bad for you, but it also feels like one of the finer things in life. And I know this is a dumb fucking thing to say, but I think I came off of my point here. I was talking about how, again, in Eastern Europe, we are all like doomer, we all want to die, we all think our countries are going to shit or whatever, there's a war, so we're all like, who cares, right? Let's like live young, live fast, die young type shit. I feel like maybe Gen Z and like young people right now in the West too, they're also feeling, like society is letting them down to some degree, right? They're feeling like, the wages are shit in a lot of places. Young people are feeling a lot of people are feeling like, they're not going to be able to afford a house ever in their life or whatever. And everybody just has this, like, everybody's living like paycheck to paycheck, essentially. Everybody's like, who gives a fuck, almost. Everybody's like so fed up with life and hoping for a better future. Like, everybody's like done with thinking and hoping for a better future, that everybody's just like, yeah, let's smoke these cigarettes and kill ourselves. Because, like, I don't know, because it's hard to care about this when there's like bigger things that are annoying in your life. And I know, once again, this is all basically just cope and once again, just coming up with a reason to smoke. But that's the way I kind of feel. That's the way I see it, at least from the outside, as somebody, once again, who always looks from the outside at how cigarettes are perceived. It does feel like to me like cigarettes are cooler for young people now. And that is exactly why we're having all these channels today, just smoking cigarettes and talking shit. And I think it's interesting. Cigarettes, of course, they are just like any other, like social drug, kind of. If you are a guy who's, if you ask somebody for a cigarette or if you give somebody a cigarette, whatever, there's always a chance to strike up a conversation. Or if you go for a smoke break outside of a bar or a club, whatever it is, right, some event, there's always also an ability to network, to have that conversation. You could say yes, you could still have those conversations with people without cigarettes, but they wouldn't be there standing next to you if they weren't also out there to smoke, you know what I'm saying? So that's also a driving force to it. But also, yeah, like I personally don't even feel, and I felt this for a long time now, I personally don't even feel like cigarettes do much for me as far as like giving me any sort of hit of nicotine or anything. I've never actually really tried like snus or Zins. I know that shit is popular now, but I've only tried snus like once. And it didn't really hit me because I guess I just have like a high tolerance for like cigarettes or like any type of, because I'm a big guy, I've gotten only bigger since I moved here to Portugal. I'm a fat, oh sorry guys, I just punched you. I'm a big guy, I'm tall, I'm 6'4", I'm tall, I weigh a lot, so I have a big build, so it takes me quite a lot of beers to get drunk, not 3 beers. Not 5, maybe 5, okay. I don't know, it takes me quite a lot of weed to get high. It takes me quite a lot of even cigarettes to feel anything I feel like. So like the snus that I tried, it wasn't the hardest of all time. Didn't like hit me anything crazy. I don't know how much mg it was, but even when I smoke like these regular cigarettes, I can't really say that I feel much of a hit of anything after I finish. I don't even really feel like it's much of a physical addiction for me as much as it is like, there is a physical, I mean, you could say there's the oral fixation, right? It's like Dr. Sigmund Freud said. That guy said that if you smoke cigarettes, you want to suck penis or whatever, right? You have an oral fixation. I guess so. I just, it's enjoyable to have a long, darty thing in your hand and put it up your mouth. I know that sounds very fruity, but that's the truth of life, you guys. Once again, I kind of don't like the smell of it, but I don't mind the taste, and it's a process. Smoking, gives you that like 5-10 minutes of sort of an time with yourself, an inner monologue you could have. Of course, unless you're like scrolling Twitter and smoking at the same time. That's not good. I feel like you should smoke and not have any other stimuli in your face at the same time. That's like when you truly get, just a moment to reflect. You can have those moments, once again, without a cigarette, but it's something to like focus on and to, I don't know. I'm not trying to promote cigarettes in any way. And I would like to smoke less, quite honestly. I don't like the prices, first of all. Like, cigarettes are so much cheaper in Russia and Georgia, for example, so in Eastern Europe compared to here. I mean, Portugal doesn't have the most expensive cigarettes of all time. Cigarettes here, like a pack is like €5. Basically, but I know that in the UK you can buy like a pack for like, a pack would be like £12 or more than that. I mean, honestly, if I had to buy cigarettes for that much fucking money, that's just ridiculous. I'd just rather quit. I'd just rather only smoke like spliff or something at that point. Because like, why? It's so fucking expensive, ridiculously expensive, it's not even funny. And you're smoking dog shit at the end of the day. Like, if you really want to be a true tobacco smoker, smoke like roll-ups. Because that way it actually tastes real. You're getting better quality lung cancer, I guess. I do think that smoking, it is definitely harmful, but it is also enjoyable. People do like to do it, and I don't judge. I don't judge people if like it. Once again, that may be also because of the way I was conditioned growing up in Russia, Eastern Europe. We do like to smoke. We don't really care about health or anything like that. It's like how Russians put on a seatbelt in the car, not because they're scared that somebody's they're gonna crash and die. They put on a seatbelt in the car in case the cops stop them, So I'm not defending it, but I don't judge. And I do find it annoying when you smoke, and I always get these comments saying, Roman, quit, you're gonna die, or whatever. Life is fucking pain, guys, already. Like, you can give me a break. Let me have my cigarettes, okay? Let me cope with the ways that I like to cope. You should maybe suggest to your friends, if you want them to be more healthy, that maybe they should quit, but don't act like a vegan, like a stereotype of a vegan towards meat eaters, like, how can you do that? Don't act that way towards smokers because it's fucking annoying. And yes, we know that we're killing ourselves, but that's kind of the point. So that being said, guys, that was my little rant, my little story of how I ended up becoming a smoker. I hope you enjoyed this video though, and let me know your thoughts on smoking, on vices, on any sort of things that harm you that we still do. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.